Spurs Mafia, how you doing? Happy Halloween. Tonight, San Antonio is taking on Kawhi Leonard and the Clippers. Ugh, that sounds so icky to say. I still don't like it. I especially don't like it because Kawhi is very, very good at putting basketballs in hoops. We'll get more into the how he does that later. But this video is going to be focused on the Spurs defense through 3 games. They haven't looked great. I understand what they're trying to do defensively, but some of their personnel are doing a better job of executing the game plan than others. Let's take a look at the tape. The Spurs have been defending the pick and roll with drop coverage this year, sending the guard over the screen to run the ball handler off the line, and using the big man to stay back, contain the drive, and invite a mid-range jump shot. Even though theirs isn't, the Spurs know that most NBA offenses are built around three-point shots, drives, and layups. So they've crafted a defense that invites teams to take the shots that they want to take the least. Those mid-range shots, especially if they can get in and contest, which is what winds up happening on a lot of these because the guard fights over the screen, the big man steps up just enough to invite the shot, limit the drive, and then still has room to go and contest it. The big men have done a very good job of sinking to the paint, protecting the rim, and inviting these mid-range looks, especially from popping big men who aren't known for their shooting. A lot of these shots are scouting report defense. That's just letting a guy shoot from somewhere that you know he's not at his most comfortable. Hassan Whiteside is much more effective rolling to the rim, but Aldridge's positioning prevents that. When the big man drops, it's his responsibility to prevent the drive or meet the ball handler at the rim. Jakob Poeltl and LaMarcus Aldridge have done a very good job of doing just that. Jakob Poeltl is 7'1", long arms, and he has done a fantastic job of making it difficult around the rim out of the pick and roll. Poeltl has 5 blocks in 3 games, and he's not somebody that ball handlers want to go at the rim at. He's a formidable rim protector, but it's not uncommon to see him sell out for a block, make a good contest, but then leave it wide open on the glass for somebody else to clean up. The roll man can be dangerous with this drop coverage, but Poeltl has the length to cover both the drive and the roll. LaMarcus Aldridge is obviously the starting center, and he has 8 blocks in 3 games. He has been fantastic anchoring this defense at the rim. This has probably been the biggest growth in Aldridge's game since he's been in San Antonio, is his instincts on the defensive end, his positioning. Watch on this play, he knows Whiteside's not trying to shoot that, gives him cushion, perfect timing on the block. One of Aldridge's best attributes defensively is his IQ. Here he shuffles his feet and stays down to the last possible moment, puts his hand right in the face and then extends to the ball. That's a beautiful contest on a drive. He's increasing the duration of these closeouts with careful footwork and keeping his arms up for most of a guy's drive once he gets inside like 8 feet. It's really, really cool to see. He had 5 blocks against his former team and got Lillard a couple of times. This one, I want you to pay attention to just how quick his reaction is. At this point, the ball handler's picked up the dribble, so he can poke in, but watch how much care he takes when he does it. Little chop step goes right at the ball, strips it, goes to his teammate. His timing is excellent on these plays where he's swiping in just at the right time and getting all ball. In pick and roll defense, DeMar DeRozan's job is to force his guy over the screen, force a mid-range look, and get back in to contest it. He's not the greatest isolation defender, but he can play his role in this defense pretty well. A lot of these looks are exactly the kind of shots that Pop and the rest of the Spurs coaching staff wants to give up to the opposing team. Some of them get a little closer to the rim than others, but as we saw earlier in the video, Spurs have some pretty good rim protectors, so it's not so bad if a guy gets a little deeper into the paint as long as one or both of the defenders in the play are there to contest. DeMar does get into trouble sometimes, just giving a little bit too much space. Here, transition, Rodney Hood, that's a warm-up jumper for him. DeMar is a guy who carries the load on offense, so you understand that some plays he's going to be a little lackadaisical defensively, but he also has a few mental mistakes from time to time. Here on this play, he's in help position, but the guy just picked up his dribble. There is no need for DeMar to help down at the rim. He and Rudy Gay both make the same mistake and leave shooters open on the wing. And here, You see DeMar doesn't even see the guy wide open in the corner. He actually doesn't see the guy he's supposed to rotate to until the pass goes to him. Through 3 games, I've seen enough. Dejounte Murray will be first team all defense this year. Pay attention to the way he uses his length to contest shots. Here, he goes over the screen, but he has time to recover and get a good contest. Sometimes he might overestimate that ability, here gambling for a steal, and then he's a little slow getting to close out. Because he has such long arms and quick feet, it's really tough for most guards to get around Dejounte Murray, especially in a half-court set. On this play, he spins under a screen after stunting, and he's in perfect position to impact this shot. Most of the time he was in the game against the Blazers, he was checking Dame Lillard, and he did a fantastic job. Look at this block on the way to rim. Pretty much any time Dame tried to get to the basket, Dejounte was there to smother him completely. Sometimes he's a little bit aggressive to shadow somebody completely on a drive. McCollum shook him pretty good here with an in and out, and then got in for a nice little floater. Again, there are times when he relies on those long arms a little bit too heavily. Here, he's just giving too much space to one of the best shooters in the game, Damian Lillard. That's 5 feet, and that's way too much for a guy who can step back and shoot from pretty much anywhere inside a half court. A little later in the game, he's guarding Rodney Hood, and he guards him a little bit more tightly. Contests this 3-point shot well, results in a bad miss. A lot of the time when a big man drops, you'll switch the pick and roll. Here, Dejounte sees the drive is contained, switches out to the shooter at the perimeter, contests a shot, and it misses badly. You can really see his speed here, recovering in transition to a shooter in the corner. This is a tough play to make, but he gets back in and contests, and Damian Lillard misses. Derrick White is another premier perimeter defender, and he does a great job of getting over these screens and contesting whatever shots come from the ball handler. You'll see some of these shots go in, but it's still pretty good defense. You can play good defense on a make and bad defense on a miss. For the Spurs, good defense means forcing the opposition to take a tough mid-range look and then contesting it. Derrick White is exactly the kind of player who can put that game plan into action. Where you start to get into trouble with the drop coverage is if you allow a 3-point shot or if you allow the ball handler to get into the lane a little bit too far and get a floater or a layup attempt. Anybody who guards the ball this much is going to make mistakes. This is a classic Steph Curry play right here. McCollum passes to the wing. Derrick White stops moving, but McCollum doesn't. McCollum goes to the corner, gets a nice open shot, biffs it completely, but that's a breakdown by White. Here, he gets broken down off the dribble by Dame. That'll happen to the best of us. This one here is evil genius move by Dame Lillard. They've been going over on the screens all night. White's ready to go over on this screen, except he doesn't use the screen. He just darts right to the rim and dunks it. That's nasty. Third quarter, he'd been scouting that all game. Beal got him a few times in the Washington game. Here on the pick and roll, got him to trip on the pump fake, blow by, swish. If you spend a lot of time guarding the other team's best players, these things are going to happen. White's still the second best perimeter defender on this team. Bryn has improved as a defender, but he's still not a lockdown by any means. He gets spun around. Even when he's in okay position and trying his hardest, he just has a really difficult time getting around screens. As you can imagine, that's not so great when you're defending a pick and roll. Unlike White and Murray, he doesn't have the length to make an effective closeout after getting beat on a pick and roll. If Forbes has to guard a pretty good player, any smart coach is going to run that guy through a bunch of screens. McCollum got going against Forbes in the Portland game. When the big man plays drop coverage, he's giving up a pop 3 to the big man who set the screen. Here, you can see Lyles is giving Tolliver a wide open 3-point shot. Forbes is doing his job getting over the screen, but he doesn't contest that pass, and Dejounte Murray doesn't help to Tolliver. On this play, it's pretty much the same action out of a pick and roll, except Dejounte's in good help position on Tolliver, forces a pass inside that's almost turned over. The Spurs have given up a few too many second chance points, but the initial defense by Forbes was good there. On this play, he wants to get out to the ball, but he's not trusting his teammate LaMarcus Aldridge, whose responsibility that is. He leaves his man wide open in the corner for 3. On this play, he wants to help and switch, but it's a double screen, so he winds up not actually helping, leaving his man, and that's a devious play setup by the Wizards. Communication and trusting your teammates is important, and it's something Forbes still has to work on. Here, Dejounte swipes at the ball. Forbes takes that to mean that he's taking over his man. He's not, he's just swiping. Forbes switches, Dejounte stays on his man, and they wind up leaving McCollum wide open for a three. Even when Forbes is playing pretty textbook defense, even if there's no screen involved really, he just doesn't have the size to contest jump shots as well as some of the other guards on this Spurs roster. He didn't even give McCollum that much room, but McCollum knew he had room to hit that shot. In isolation, Forbes does a pretty good job of staying in front, but again, he just doesn't have the size to contest well on that shot. He's going to make a few plays because he has good quickness and he can stay in front, but he's not a guy who you really expect to make stops on the defensive end of the floor. Trey Lyles' defense has left a little bit to be desired. He's in there for rebounding, but he gets beat on the boards quite a bit. He's also had a hard time guarding in the high post, especially against Rui Hachimura and the Wizards. Here he bites on the pump fake, gets up in the air, gives up an easy layup. That's not a good look to give up. This one, he gets absolutely destroyed on a pass fake, gets bodied, gives up a dunk. Rudy Gay has kind of been a mixed bag on the defensive end of the floor. The further he is from the basket, the less well he tends to defend. He's not quite as quick as he used to be, so there's some struggle staying in front on some of these drives, screens, penetrating moves. He's a veteran though, so he's a smart defender. He's going to invite guys to take shots that he knows they're not quite so good at hitting. Hezonja was just 1 of 9 in this game, so Gay was pretty happy to just let him keep shooting it. Now, as the game goes from the perimeter toward the basket, Rudy Gay's defense gets much better. He's a pretty good shot blocker, and he has good instincts for when somebody's going to go up for a shot. He's pretty versatile defensively, but he's definitely at his best closer to the rim, helping, contesting shots, and really making it difficult for anybody trying to get a layup. This might be an individual thing, but Patty Mills seems to have been icing a lot of pick and rolls toward the sideline rather than just going over them toward the middle. He winds up in not so great position to contest these shots. Here, Jakob Poeltl steps up to get a block, but that's pretty rare in this Spurs defense. Pretty much any time Patty Mills is running around a screen, that's bad news for the San Antonio Spurs. Where Forbes doesn't have the physical size to contest, Patty oftentimes gets beat so badly that there's no way he even gets back in the frame. This is a screen from another guard and it hits him like a cement truck. He's giving Dame Lillard 5 feet to launch a 3-point shot. The shot doesn't go, but that's not good defense. Patty gambles in passing lanes a lot for somebody who really doesn't have the physical tools to recover all that well. Sometimes he can stay in position and do what the Spurs defense is supposed to, but he's giving up a lot of these floaters and more layup looks that they're really trying to avoid. Here's a double screen. Patty makes McCollum look like a brick wall, winds up switching, winds up in an open jump shot. Here's another screen that takes Patty out of commission completely. Look how far away he is from making any meaningful impact on that play defensively. If the guard isn't pressuring the ball at all, it makes it much harder for the big man behind him to make a good contest at the rim. Another screen, another wide open opportunity for McCollum, flyby by Patty, yikes. One of the things that drives me nuts about Patty on defense is his positioning. For a veteran, his positioning is so bad sometimes. He doesn't need to help on this pick and roll. LaMarcus Aldridge has it covered in a drop. He leaves a wide open 3-point shooter. Here it's the same thing. Patty helps. Why, I don't know. He leaves a guy open, he's not in good position to defend, and that's why he gets crossed up so bad. This play Pop calls Jakob Poeltl to double. Why is Patty so far off a pass away? There's no explanation for that, there's no excuse for that. Here again, he's helping on a pick and roll that he's not involved in, a pass away, and you could argue that maybe he should help because it's Marco Bellinelli coming over the screen. But he's not doing anything except leaving a guy open a pass away. There's just no reason for it. Speaking of unnecessary help defense, Marco Bellinelli, what are you doing? Oh, why are you helping somebody who doesn't need help and letting his man know that there's a shooter wide open at the arc? Why are you doing that? Let's see what Becky Hammond and Pop thought. not too pleased. If Pop stands up because your defense is so bad, that's not good. Here, again, who are you helping? Nobody! You're not helping anybody. He does this all the time. It's so frustrating. He'll show down to help where he doesn't need to help at all and give up an open shot. It's bad defense. Here, Derrick White has this handled. There's no reason for him to stunt down like this. And when he does, he's completely out of position. And it winds up being a wide open three. Stop! This is bad. This one almost gave me an aneurysm. In transition, he sees his guy running. He's like, okay, let me look back at the ball. Look back at my guy. Oh, he's a little further away now. Look back at the ball. Look back at my guy. Oh, he's really far away now. I truly do not understand these mental mistakes that Marco Bellinelli makes on a regular basis. He can't stay in front. He gets destroyed on backdoor cuts. Multiple times gave up easy layups to Davis Bertans in that game. And much like his buddy Patty, he can't get around screens. Here he's getting bodied by Isaiah Thomas. You're a grown man. Anytime an opposing offense can target Marco Bellinelli with a screen, in a pick and roll, off-ball screen, they'd be an idiot not to. This guy is 100% a liability on the defensive end. Going over on the screen only really works if he can stay attached, and he can't. Every single time he's out of position on these plays. He gets so out of position that it turns into a 5-on-4 with a guy with the ball with the head of steam. If Marco is making mistakes on defense that Patty needs to clean up, that's not going to end well for the Spurs. Look how hard it is for him to get around that screen. Look how open that floater is. It's the middle of the fourth quarter. The Spurs are in the middle of choking away a lead. That's not when Marco Bellinelli should be on the floor. It's like he doesn't know some of these screens are coming, or he doesn't know what a screen is, or how one should go about avoiding it. Even when there's no screen, when he's defending in isolation, he needs to give so much space because he knows how easily he can get blown by. That results in a lot of open outside jump shots for guys who can hit those. He has no redeeming qualities on defense. He is a complete liability on that end of the floor. Let's see how this all came together late in the game against the Trailblazers. Here we see an off-ball screen from McCollum, beats Forbes, gets deep into the lane for a floater. It's a little deeper than the Spurs would like that shot to be. At this point, Dejounte is out of the game. He's hit his minutes restriction. But Derrick White was doing a really good job of defending Damian Lillard for most of the game. This is just a pro move by McCollum, pump fake, up and under, in, and one. That's tough. Here, Damian Lillard in transition, size up dribble, crossover, gets to the rim, and one again. Damian Lillard off the pick and roll, spins to the rim all the way. That's tough. Not many defenders in the league who can stop that. Here, gets the switch on DeRozan, step back, too much room. It's Dame time, and he was far from done in this one. The Blazers were down 19 points in the fourth quarter, but Damian Lillard clawed them back in this game, and the Spurs didn't play bad defense on him. This play, LaMarcus was playing a little high, and he tripped a little bit, so Dame took it all the way in and dunked. A minute left, Bryn does his best to fight over this screen. LaMarcus steps up, contests the floater, it's a miss, grabs the rebound. Here, White doesn't want to give any room for the shot, but he gets blown by, and there's Patty playing some of that useless help defense. Wait, why is Patty out there? This is pretty decent defense, but Dame easily could have tied the game on that shot. And this one, no rotation to Tolliver, who also easily could have tied it. DeMar gets the board, but he missed both free throws. A reminder how the game against Washington ended. It was a double screen, and they targeted Mills. They got Beal switched on to Patty, who gets blown by on the perimeter, only to get saved by Dejounte and Derrick White near the rim. Dejounte has only been playing about 5 minutes a quarter, but Pop brought him in at that last play to secure the defensive stop. They decided not to do that in this game against the Trailblazers. That means Patty and Bryn are both on the floor. They run an elevator screen to get Lillard open, and Bryn Forbes switches onto him. He does the best he can defensively, stays in front. They miss, but Patty and Trey Lyles throw it out of bounds. Last play, obviously they want Lillard off his screen. It's a good one. Why is Trey Lyles under the basket? What three-point layup is he guarding against? Derek White got in to get a good contest on that shot, even though it looked like Lillard was pretty open. But man, I'd like to know what Lyles was thinking there. The Clippers have absolutely been shredding teams, and it's primarily running pick and roll. Kawhi Leonard is one of the best in the league at running pick and roll. He gets all the way to the basket so much. He is so hard to stop when he gets the basket in his sights. When he wants to get all the way downhill, he makes some crazy layups. If you don't remember, this guy's pretty good. That's a bucket and a foul. Like, how do you defend that? I still don't really know if there's a good way to cover Kawhi in the pick and roll. He's just too tough to guard. Like, even if you do everything right, there's still like a 40% chance that he's just going to put you on the mixtape, make you look like an idiot. The Clippers run a lot of standard pick and rolls, but they also run these ones with other guards coming to set a faux screen, and it creates some space for Kawhi. He doesn't need much, but it just gets the defender moving in an opposite direction, and he uses that to his advantage. The Spurs use this pistol screen a lot to get switches for guys like DeRozan. These picks from guards are also good at giving other guys on the team pick and pop opportunities, and it's a pretty easy read for Kawhi to make. It's a pass that pretty much anybody can make. Now, you might remember that I said the Spurs defense invites mid-range shots. Well, you also might remember that Kawhi Leonard is pretty good at hitting mid-range shots. That's why I think the Spurs might have a tough time tonight. Because even if they get exactly the shots that they want Kawhi to be taking, he's going to hit them at a ridiculous clip. We know this about Kawhi Leonard. He's a mid-range assassin. He can really pull up from anywhere. Are the Warriors running a zone here? Oh, that's adorable. Yeah, no, Kawhi's got that 3-2. The Suns decided to go under a lot of screens. That didn't really work for them. I mean, oh, that's sick. Here's his former Spurs teammate Danny Green attempting to guard him. And he does a damn good job, but that shot's nothing but the bottom. That's just Kawhi Leonard. That's just something that he's particularly good at. Here he gets all the way to the rim, pump fake, spin, turnaround. He's got that. It should be illegal for the Clippers to run a double screen for Kawhi. Even this one's pretty well defended. 3 guys get their hands up. He's drilling that shot. Just creates too much space. There's too much going on. And even if it completely breaks down, he's going to get a shot off. Spurs fans know this because he was doing it in San Antonio. But one thing he wasn't doing in San Antonio was making passes like this. What? That's new. I've never seen him hit a roll man like that. That's a little different. Okay. The Suns decided to test Kawhi's newfound passing ability. They doubled him at the top a lot. It did not work out well. Over and over again, they doubled him at the top when a pick and roll came. Over and over again, he found Trez Harrell under the bucket for an easy layup. Hitting the roll man on a pick and roll is such a simple play, but it's something that Kawhi didn't really do much of for a lot of his early years in the league. But those days seem to be over. This is the new update, and he's kind of a point guard now. He's already got 30 assists in the 4 games he's played. That's crazy for where this guy was even 2 years ago. Here's that double screen again, and look at this pass. This is ridiculous. I really don't know what the proper way to guard Kawhi is now. There's no weakness to his offensive game. Here, we see the double screen again, and once again, he picks out Harrell underneath. That is a really gorgeous scoop pass, and it's because Draymond had to worry about the shooter in the corner. Here, Draymond covers Harrell, leaves the shooter in the corner open, and Kawhi finds him. So, Kawhi can shoot from anywhere. Apparently, he can hit the roll man. Also, apparently, he can find shooters out of the pick and roll. That does not bode well, especially in this double drag screen. Gets Beverly wide open for 3. Oh my god. The Clippers are going to absolutely shred teams, Spurs included, with this double screen. I just wanted to finish with a play that reminded me a little bit of Patty Mills and Marco Bellinelli. I have a feeling Kawhi might make a few assists like this tonight. Clippers also have this guy named Lou Williams, who I've been told is pretty good at pick and roll as well. Um, from what I've seen from the Spurs on tape, I think they're going to have a pretty tough time tonight, especially against that double drag screen. Um, One guy who apparently has been on a minutes restriction is Damari Carroll, who has played 0 minutes per game. Lonnie Walker, high defensive upside, he's played 5 minutes for the entire season. Would like to see either or both of them play uh, instead of Marco Bellinelli. If Patty Mills and Marco Bellinelli are on the court at the same time attempting to guard Kawhi Leonard, I'm going to lose it. I'm going to lose it. I am going to lose my mind if I see that. So keep me in your thoughts and prayers. We'll see how this goes. I don't think it's going to go great, but I'm open to being surprised. And we'll see. As always, go Spurs go.